You're listening to Rstories, a storytelling podcast that elevates the lived experiences of Chicago's migrant and refugee communities. I'm Chris Shue, and along with my co-host Ali Toro, we'll share candid conversations with the inspiring individuals and advocates at the forefront of key issues affecting these communities, and we'll have plenty of fun along the way. Let's get started.
Welcome to our stories. I am Ali Taro, along with my co-host Chris Shue and our special guest, Mr. Abdul Subhan Misbah. Welcome, Mr. Misbah, to our stories. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for providing me this opportunity and have me here today to talk to you.
This is absolutely our pleasure. So, for the beginning, please share a little bit your background and let us know why are you here in Chicago.
Oh, thank you so much. Yes. Well, actually, if I say a few words about myself, I born in Kabul. I got my all of education in Afghanistan. I got my bachelor in law and political science from Kabul University. Then got masters in one of the university called Azad Islamic University. And then I start to work right after the democracy, right after the constitution came to Afghanistan, after 2003 and 4. This time I graduated. And then I start to work within different organizations in different capacities, mainly with non-profit organizations. I started with one of the organizations called Norwegian Refugee Council, as a trainer, then also changed my position into different other organizations. During the time I was dean of the law faculty and lecturer in different legal subjects. Founder of the Bar Association, elected deputy of the Afghanistan Lawyers Union during that time. I chaired Akbar. Akbar is a umbrella organization of almost 180 non-profit international and national NGOs in Afghanistan. At the same time, I used to work with the U.S. Department of State in one of the very important projects of U.S. Called Background Prison, which is called the Background Prison, and the project was JCEP, Justice Center in Parwan. We tried more than 10,000 terrorists over there. And so at the same time, I was an attorney, a private attorney, and then I found an NGO called Shining Star Educational Organization in Afghanistan. That's for women, which is still active. It has more than 7,000 students they are providing. So that's in my background. In 2015, because of my service to the U.S. government in one of the important projects, they granted me a special visa, which is for most of the Afghans, special immigrant visa, SIV. I moved here in U.S. and came directly to Chicago. And the reason that I came to here was because I had one of my line manager. His name is John Maher. We used to work in the same office in JCEP in the background. So he gave me his phone number and he told me, whenever you come to the US, come to Chicago and he will help me somehow. So when I came here, I actually thought, I had different perspective from the Western culture. I thought, maybe they say they forget me almost. Then I thought let's call. I call the number. The number belongs to his sister. So I just told her that Misbah is here in Chicago, and tell John that to call me. So after 5-10 minutes, I received a call from John. John called me, "Hey Misbah, where are you?" I said, "I'm here in Chicago." He said, "Forever?" I said, he said, "For how long?" I said, "Forever." I said, "I'm here with my family." So then what happened in less than 48 hours, he came to me and he brought me to one of the university called Northern Illinois University in Chicago. And he introduced me there as a guest lecturer. So I had a guest lecture for the MBA students. Right after that, he just told me he helped me a lot financially with providing job opportunities a lot. But what he did is that he told me, Misbah, you because of all the career that you have in Afghanistan, you should go back there. That was very important for me because I got on that time my green card. I was available to go back. So we established a consultancy company because he's an attorney, but I'm not an attorney here as a licensed attorney. He sent me back to Kabul. We made another company called Misbah Mahir Legal Consultancy Services. And we were working, and I was bringing cases from there, especially those Afghans have problems with Americans, with their contracts disputes, legal disputes. I was bringing cases, and he was trying to do work on that. We have a few of the cases still now in the U.S. with the U.S. government, U.S. judicial system. It's ongoing. So that he helped me. He was the one that he didn't allow me to do the hourly wage work as an other immigrant and do have tension to be a taxi driver, because the only option that I came in on that time, because those Afghans were here, I had some family members too. They told me the only option for you will be that you have a driving license for taxi and then start to work as a taxi driver, which was very difficult for me because in Afghanistan, my position was, I had like everything. I had a lot to do. So it was very difficult for me to accept that. But because I had kids, I was about to pay my bills or rent of the house, whatever. Then I decided, okay, I will do that. But when John came in and John told me, oh no, he brought me to a law firm called Doing Morris, one of the biggest law firm, and he told his friend, and he told me, hey, this is Misbah, give him a job. That's it. And he said, okay. And he told me, well, if Misbah is like that, why don't we send him back to Kabul to bring more cases from there? So I started to do so, and until 2021, when the government collapsed, kind of same situation happened to me again, because before that I was just commuting, traveling back and forth. Within 2-3 months I was staying there, then come here, spend time with the family. At the same time I was serving as a board member with one of the organization called Central Asia Institute, CAI. That was very respected people were there as a board members. So most of the time when I was coming, I was going to the different states, having board meetings, and so I was like quite busy. So, but after 2021, I was lucky because I was the last one in the last commercial flight, Emirates flight. By Saturday, by August 14, I left Kabul. When I landed in New York, so everything was gone on that time. The president was escaped, and everything was gone. So when I came here this time, because I was not an attorney, had the cases were gone, all the businesses were gone, nothing. So I faced still the same situation. Then I faced Mr. Khalil Demir, the executive director of the Zakat Foundation. And he called me, actually. He said, hey, Misbah, I need you. He told me then he is the second person who helped me a lot. He didn't allow me to go back and go to the other work and positions. So he in the first meeting, actually I was referred by someone to him because of my work as a chairman for Akbar, especially. It's an NGO, non-profit organization. So then he told me, what's your plan? And that time I was thinking I don't know how to start everything, because all the legal works were related to Afghanistan. So then he said, well, I don't know how to do it. So he told me I will give you a good amount of salary and you should work with me. So right after that, I was able to organize 2 kind of international conferences for Afghanistan in Washington in March 2022. In January 2022 and in March 2023, these 2 conferences. And that was in the first conference, I was able to have through Zoom even the foreign minister of the Taliban through Zoom to talk to the people, to answer to the questions of the people. And politicians from here, the US government high rankings, because of my connections. So I was able to do so. And after that, like I was doing a lot of more work with the Zakat Foundation in different projects. So one of the important projects was to establish Afghan Cultural Center. So then Afghan Cultural Center is for just to mobilize and unite Afghans through the experiences that I have from my 24 years or so experience that I have, 23 years.
Thank you so much. I know your full story, and I know you share just a fast forward of your story, but please share more details with our audience. You were in a background project, okay, with, as you mentioned, 10,000 terrorists were held over there. Then you arrive here as a SIV case, especially migrant visa. So it means, based on my experience and my knowledge, okay, you received, death threat. Your life was in danger. That's why you moved to United States, right? So then I want to touch base a little bit that piece, okay, if you are comfortable, okay. Then share about your experience until from day one until you find John Maher again. So your challenges, is hey, I don't want to drive Uber. I don't want, So if you are comfortable and share those moments, those days, and maybe I'm projecting my own experience because I don't know I mentioned it before or not. I was a political prisoner in Iran. When I arrived in the United States, for the first couple of years, I asked myself, was that the right decision to leave my country? Okay, a couple of times I prefer to go back Iran and stay in prison. That much pressure and lack of support. So please
Sure,
share more details if you are comfortable. Then
sure.
Then we can talk about the role of social capital, how you and John Maher play as a social capital for us. Yeah.
Sure, definitely. You know what? When I graduated from the faculty, I was young on that time. I had dreams, and the dreams was because we had democracy, we had election, we had a freedom of speech, and all the fundamental rights. So my dream was to become the president of Afghanistan. This is what like most of the young generation had. I went through that way, but at the same time, I did everything by myself. It's like not by nepotism, not by any connections, no recommendation, no nothing. Whatever I have done by myself. So the work that I did before even or during the time of my work with the Department of State's project in Afghanistan in the background, I become the elected deputy of the lawyers union. That union is a different, it's not like a bar association. In this union, the judges, prosecutors, defense lawyers, and whomever is graduated from the faculty, law school, they were our members. We had more than 5,000 members on that time. That union made me famous in TV because when I was commenting on the TVs, always for the breach of the Constitution and fundamental rights, women's rights, and all these things. So that made my life at risk because I was challenging. Like I was involved into huge cases. You might heard one of the case of the first vice president who had a sexual abuse case with one of the his previous deputy, who used to be a governor of a 62 years man, Ishchi. That was in the media. It was the case of, I believe, 2017 or so. That case, I was the attorney for the Ishchi. So Dostum, General Dostum, He's a big warlord. He was a big warlord. He's very powerful among the Uzbek ethnicity.
I know Dusam very well.
Awesome, yeah. So I was actually against him. And
You were
in the
against-
TV, and I was talking, I remember, because of my work on the case, we were able to sentence more than 7 of his bodyguards to jail. They actually didn't go to the jail, but the thing was, we were the people to fight against him. Then he left the country. He was out of Afghanistan for almost 13 months. And it was all because of this one part was legal work of that. So by the day he returned, it's a very interesting story. I was in the Tulu TV. Tulu is one of the famous TV in Afghanistan, local TV channel. I had a live interview, and he was in the airport. A lot of people were there for the reception to say welcome them. And what I said there, like, he has to go to jail, not to come to his house. Like, Dostum is the one he's accused of thousands of people. He killed thousands of people during this time, and everybody is afraid of him. And what happened? I used taxi to go to the Tolo TV to the stadium, and I was crossing his house. So the same on return. So when I was done with my interview, the TV reporter told me, Misbah, are you sure that he told me, stay for a few hours then, because if you just leave the stadium, then what will be happening? I said, no problem, that's fine. So similar to that, these cases where I was involved. In Bagram, these 10,000 or more than 10,000 people that we tried, some of them are ministers now in the government. Some of them most of them are very high rankings.
In the Taliban government?
The Taliban, right now, this government is involved, is made of that people, mostly.
Give me a second. Chris, General Dostum, okay, when he was talking, here, he's a very big guy. He killed over 10,000 people.
In one incident, he's accused of 10,000 people in one case. So, maybe 50,000.
He's very well known in Iran as well. Everybody knows General Dostum at this in the Middle East.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was against him, not from a small position, from the position of deputy of a lawyers' union. Another story, I criticized the Chief Justice once, and the Chief Justice called me. Hey, so in Afghanistan at that time, everybody could do anything. He called me, then he told me, please don't do this. Please, we need your support. And he offered me a position to be the spokesperson for the Supreme Court. So all these things, we had vision, we had purpose. We wanted to work for the Constitution, for the equality, for the human rights, and all these things. But unfortunately, because of an international drama, because of I don't know what's behind these political games, we lost all these things over there. But yes, when I was walking in the streets in Kabul, in the crowded area, for example, the downtown Kabul, 20-30% of the people they say hello to me because they know me in the TV and all these things. So this caused me my threats increase my.
You become a good target. You were high profile. Yeah. And I don't want to talk that much. Please chime in, Chris. And you arrived here because of your situation. You reach out to John Maher, and you were kind of forced to leave your family here and go back to Kabul again, where your life was at risk.
Well, definitely. Before I came here, I didn't want to come. The reason I wanted to serve to my country because they needed the people like us. There, we were educated people. Here is a lot of educated people. But there is these poor people that they owed us that we provided services. But the reason that I came, because my life was at risk. I was about to for my family also. So it was then an opportunity for my family. Like my kids, they grew up here, they born here. So yeah, so I left because of that situation that I faced. I came here on that time. So could you please repeat that?
And tell me what happened. Okay, so your expectation of this country was wrong. So they offer you just entry level job, and your situation in Chicago again forced you to go back to Kabul, right? Again, you
Yes.
put your life at risk for the second time.
Yes, one of the reason that on that time when I came through Refugee One office. My case was there, and there was an office. So what they did, they just introduced us to some of the organizations like Upward Global or some other for the job. And what they were doing, and the reason actually, because we didn't have any education here, no experience here. So for the good positions, they need qualified people. So we were not that much qualified for that. So I looked around, and it was very hard for me to fit into these positions or go to Walmart work to hourly wage, and because I was like, we were making a good amount of money, and we had respect. I was somehow equal to the member of the parliament, member to a minister, equal to a minister, equal to deputy minister's level. Whenever I was inviting so I had like this kind of prestige over there. That was the most important hard part for me. So from other side, I was thinking, well, US, we had a different image from US. We had, everything would be all good there. So when we came here, when we saw, well, there is no more support. The only support we received from the government was, I think, 1 month salary, 1 month rent, or 1 or 2 months rent for the house, and then a welcome money, like $1,000 or so. Then that's it. No, nothing. So then you have to pay the rent. You have to pay everything. And from other side, the only solution is to be a taxi driver or to do that was not my dream. So there was like in against what I had in my mind. So that caused me to go back. I knew that I'm at risk when I go back to Kabul and work. So that was one of the reasons. And the second reason was I was happy to go back and serve to my people. And I did so. I had my work. So yeah, that was the reason that I left Chicago. And I was like more than 30 times I traveled back and forth during 6 years almost. It was hard for me. I was away from my kids.
Can I imagine? I'm so glad you are safe now. You are sitting at
That's
Rstories podcast.
To be honest, it's like by accident that I'm alive. It's more than like I have a lot of cases. Once some robbers, armed robbers, stopped me during the day, 11 a.m. in front of my house, and they all had AK-47, the guns, 5-6 people. They just surrounded me in my car, and they told me to go get out of there and put me to stand on your knee. On that time, I recited my kalima, the religious. I thought, well, this is my last minute that I'm coming. I was expecting I will receive a bullet in my head or in my where. So then, by the mercy of God, that they just got my car, my belongings, like mobile, whatever iPhone I had, all belongings. So that was like, so similar to that. There were a lot of explosions, and I was targeted. I was among the targeted too. So it's like actually when I see situation, sometimes I'm talking to my family and my friends, like it's actually, I'm lucky that I'm alive here. So, and we lost a lot of Afghans similar to me.
I think it's important now at this point, and just as a person to person. One, thank you for sharing.
Sure.
That takes a lot of courage to share. But more, just as much, thank you for your contributions to the continual fight for democracy and for human rights. And I think just for a second, for those listening, I think it's your story is beautiful. But I think as a person who grew up in the United States, I think it's important to acknowledge a couple of things. One, unfortunately, whether it's politicians or the media or whatever, has a tendency to sort of fear mongers or create fear about people that are coming from certain parts of the country or the world. And they create this sort of fear and these rumblings that are so unproductive. And so, one, thank you for just being a champion that, when you're fighting and sharing your dreams for Afghanistan, those are the same dreams that our young people here hold, and the dreams of, one day becoming president or having a system that empowers everybody so that all Afghans have opportunity and access to education and all of the basic rights that we all believe are just basic human rights. So thank you so much for that, and thank you for your continued commitment to. I know it's a hard time. I can only imagine the heartbreak seeing some of the things that are happening in Afghanistan and recognizing there's U.S. involvement in some of those things. But your commitment to saying that's not going to end your dream.
Definitely.
And you're going to continue to bring solidarity and peace to the Afghan community here. So thank you so much.
Thank you. No, you are welcome. Well, actually, as a human being, I have dreams, and I know that reach to these dreams is sometimes very difficult. You will be facing up and downs, obstacles, challenges. But the thing is the commitment. The thing is that the intention. I still have, as I told, over there, I was one among thousands of them to reach to these positions. And everything was done by myself. So I got the confidence when I was reaching to each of my milestones, each of the goals, then that made my confidence stronger. So when I came here, because I was educated and the legal system or the overall education system somehow copied from here, it was somehow affected by here. So when I studied a little bit of the system here in the US, it's somehow the similar. It's the election, it's the democracy, the freedom of all these things. Then I realized, well, US could be a good platform. It's a land of opportunity. And I followed the same. I'm doing the same, creating this Afghan Cultural Center is one of these ways to mobilize, especially the young generation, and to let them know that we are, if someone is able to do in that challengeable situation in Afghanistan, to grow, it's growing over there without connections, without having power, political power, it's very difficult. So if it's I'm just pointing to myself. So if I was able to do things over there, so how come here? It's a real democracy here. It's a real justice here. It's a security here. It's not 100%, of course, but everything is more better than there. So then I still that have in my mind I should start from here, and that's why I've started. Not even now, since these 3 years when I came, I started to mobilize Afghans. I traveled to a lot of states, and that opportunity provided by the Zakat Foundation, and he told me Afghans need a leadership to make them united. 100,000 Afghans came through the evacuation process. We had more, 3,000, 400,000 more. And they are still coming through the SIV Special Immigrant Program. According to a report, 840,000 somehow people are waiting in the waiting list. So all these need a kind of a platform. Because most of them they are in a really trouble time when they come here to the US. So I want to provide some opportunities for them with the help of other young Afghans.
And I want to speak to that really quickly because you talk about the need for leadership and to provide unity, right, along these communities that can be isolated. And I think it's really important on as we hear stories that you've shared. What we have to remember is these communities that are arriving through the SIV process are very vulnerable. They're very vulnerable to all sorts of things, but most importantly, that they don't have access to bring their dreams to life. And their dreams are just as deserving as yours and mine to be supported and empowered. So thank you for doing that. I'd ask one question. For people that might be listening that are like, I admire it, but they themselves may not be Afghan. How could you, what advice or recommendations could you give to say, how can we help support you in the work you're doing?
Well, mainly I believe on the science, on the management, especially all the developments happen to the management. I believe on communication, coordination, collaboration, and because human beings are created equally. So what they need is to get a little bit of education and use their talents. So what the success story in my life was my connection. I never applied for a job, for example. I got positions through knowledge, through connections. It's not like something wrong, but because the people knew me that they offered me positions. So communication is very important. Whomever is this is my message to the Afghans that they need to be united. When they become united, because we have some internal problems, ethnicity, we are divided into tribes, and also we are under the aggression of others to somehow divide us. But the real culture, the real image of Afghanistan is totally different. We want to have the Afghans here to be united, to be connected, and then through educating, when connections, and that's why we created this center as a hub for Afghans. They come together. They have economical projects. They will have like other type of activities. One of the problem for Afghans is that Afghanistan is a cultural society. It's not like somehow it's not. They don't know the value of capitalism. They don't know all these issues. So they want the more respect, more love, more kindness. These are the more values. Like I'm talking generally.
Mm-hmm.
So and that caused a big challenge because it's a cultural we have 5,000 years history. That's and it's all a traditional through the traditional way. So here, the Western culture is different. So in order to merge into that, they have to know. But at the same time, we are like, that's my recommendation to them, that US is really a land of opportunity. As we see other people from Pakistan, India, Arab, or other countries that we see, they really provided here as a small countries for them. They have their all the culture. There is no obstacles, no problem for them. They can go ahead. Look, that's my dream, that I want a small Afghanistan here in the US. just the same pure culture, the same to be united, to work together, and encourage them to get to education, have doing business, and especially for the women. We unfortunately that those women came recently through this evacuation. They have the same mentality that we had. Not the women, but they are male. The men, they do not allow their female to go to the education centers, and they're thinking, well, it's Afghanistan. They still, some of them, they use like the same kind of clothes as them. Clothes is okay, it's cultural, but they want to have to be isolated, to be separated. No, like that's one of the challenges that we are facing in this culture in the center. So that's my recommendation, that they by educating a little bit themselves, by connecting, by getting some skills are very easy. They would be able to reach to a lot of the goals, because Afghans are hard workers. We grew up in war. We grew up in disaster. We never had governments. We do not count them as a governments. No services, nothing. Whatever we have done is by us. Education, like all these things. So if someone is grown up in a very hard and challengeable situation, and they comes to the land of opportunity, in this case, it's not challenging here. Cultural shock, yes. Cultural shock is a temporary issue. It will be gone. But if they have plan, they can easily reach to their dreams here in the US. And of course, it will help the US government increase the tax, and then also like that. That's all possible for them.
I want to speak really quickly on the work of Trellus, our organization, because you said it beautifully, and I want to speak directly to you, Ali, as a colleague in this work, but to those listening who are in the social service space, because what I loved about what you were just saying is that there's certainly challenges, right? We realize those. But if we anchor, so if we focus on the dreams and aspirations of our newcomers, no matter where in what circumstances they're arriving, but if we focus on what their dreams are, and we build supports that help bring about their dreams, their aspirations, their goals, it'll blow your mind with how much is accomplished and how successful communities are, both now here in Chicago and across the country, that's a big if we focus on their dreams. Now, the obvious piece to that is, so often in the work we do, we're focused on not their dreams, not their goals or aspirations or talents or skills or expertise. We're focused on how do we get them off the taxpayer's dime as fast as possible, which I know that's a really harsh way to say it, but get them a job as fast as possible and forget about it. And I think that's the reminder. It was beautiful in how we build rich cultures and in a sort of a tapestry across the city of these beautiful centers, a little Afghanistan. That would be beautiful. Who wouldn't want that? But in order to do that, in the work we're doing, we need to recognize that these dreams of all of these folks are worth fighting for.
Yeah.
And that's what we should do. So sorry, I know you had something.
That adjustment definitely is challenging. And culture shock is something you can come around it, but you cannot really solve it. Okay, you can. So this is what it is at some point in your life in Chicago, and it's difficult. It's difficult when I can give an example. If you are from coffee culture, okay, suddenly I tell you from tomorrow morning you have to start tea culture. Just change your beverage.
I'd leave. Be out of here. I can't do it.
So imagine a kid. So you grow up with certain values, different certain lifestyle. Then you arrive here, totally different, and the system doesn't consider your culture, your background. They say, okay, you are employable to adults, okay, without considering the culture or the gender, to adult employable, you have to go to work. If you don't work, you would lose your benefits. This is a problem. One thing I want to circle back to your wrong expectation of coming to United States. I don't know I mentioned in other episodes or not, but this is interesting that regardless of your education, your educational background, I can assure you, Chris, this is a theme that all of us arrive here with wrong expectation, wrong picture of United States. Even in my dissertation, this theme came up, okay, that wrong expectation. So it means not only Americans, okay, that have a wrong picture, image of immigrant refugees, okay, also us, we have wrong expectation of American as well. So, but I have, that's why we are here to change narrative. Okay? We are here to shed light on on the true stories. So when I was getting my master's degree in political science, and one of my fellow classmates, they were from military, jobs. So they were from military forces. Then the beginning, I could tell they keep their distance with me. Okay, they didn't want to talk to me. They didn't, wanted to interact with me at all. After a semester, 3 or 4 months, they started coming up to me, and one of them was very honest with me. He told me, Ali, we think you are a very good guy. I said, thank you. Thank you, I appreciate it. So, so tell me more about it. Why? Okay. Then he told me, we thought, okay, you are a Muslim, you're from Iran, and we shouldn't get close to you because they were told. Okay, they were told I don't know if it's true or wrong, okay, but they were told if you say male Muslim guy from Iran, okay, do not trust, something like that. So, but because they got the chance to be my classmate, okay, I was able to change the narrative. They started interacting with me and say, okay, no, this guy, okay, he's a good guy, he's not dangerous. So, but yeah, this is I think one of the challenge all of us we are facing. Okay, our judgment. Okay, our judgment comes mainly from media. The media creates the wrong expectation for all of us. Another example I can tell you, we are facing migrant crisis in Chicago. So I know many people are all hands are in, are helping, assisting, but and I think it was around 4 months ago, 3 or 4 months ago, then I saw a headline news that it was, robbery is happening every second in Chicago. Okay, it's not a shocking thing. Okay, so murdering is every second in Chicago. All of us we know, but the headline was two migrant rob store, one shop. Okay, so anti-immigrant sentiment. We are, so all this media creating wrong picture, wrong expectation in our head. So let's get back to my favorite topic, social capital. You mentioned two individuals really change your life in Chicago. Okay, so how about others? You feel lucky. I feel absolutely lucky because I have these two people in my life who changed my life. But how about the rest of us? Many people, okay, do not have that luck. Okay, so how can the Chicagoans or social service providers can play their role as a social network or social capital? So how can my main question actually I'm trying to get your insight of how can we fill this gap, lack of network or social capital for the rest of us?
Well, one thing I will tell you, the people are nice here. But the thing is, with the cultural, with the view, with the expectations, uh, our culture. I will tell about Afghanistan. There, for example, if I tell by myself, I was the one made money and I was paying to more than maybe 50, 40 people. I was providing food and all these things with pride. That's my family. That's my family number over there. Similar to that, like one person was making, had salary, income, and that was enough for the whole family. The rest of the family doing education, because education is free over there, and doing all these things. So this is all of the environment is full of love, full of kindness. The people are like each others, and also here, the people are nice. There is no doubt. But the thing is, it's not the way that the Afghans are expecting, the way that are over there. The whole system here, as you said before, like it's a little bit, everybody has to work here. It's system here. So the help from the organization side is grant-based, it's a temporary, it's just for the project base. The help from the people side is like people of here, they cannot afford it, they cannot do it more because of the system. The culture is like that. I will like tell you one, just a story as an example. I had a party in Afghanistan in background. My line manager told me, yeah, I want to give a kebab, Afghan kebab to them. And they are my guests. So they were like almost 100 people. When they all came together, when I talked to them, there are 100 people. Oh, no, I can't do it. And I'm sure his income was triple or 4 or 5 side bigger than my income, my salary. But the thing was with the culture, when he realized, 100 people I provide food for, it's difficult. And it cost $200. I did this by myself. So later on, when he realized, how much was that? He said, $200. Oh, and he said, it might be like $10,000 or something like that. So these are the cultural aspects. So that's what I'm telling. Here, like, again, if I compare, over there, if someone has no income for 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, no problem. The people will help you. No rent, no bills, no nothing, no insurance. You can live very happy life. Here, so the people could not help this way. The people, the only thing he can do is give you a sofa, he give you food will take you to the restaurant. Nothing more. So that's the challenge. I cannot blame the people here because this is the culture here. But at the same time, those who came here, that's actually the kind of interaction of the that's social situation with the capitalism here, with that. So we have rare people. I can say that to feel that. Why my friend John Maher helped me? Because he spent time with me 2-3 years. He knew my culture, and he treated me the way that I was expecting, and that's why I was like very comfortable. So here is the same. Like we have good neighbors. But this is what they are. But their neighbors are like family members. They can go like they can share anything. They can share food. They can sit. They can talk and the people they don't have that much work. They are free. Like they can sit for whatever occasions. Here you can say hi and bye. That's it.
Yeah. And also make an appointment to visit your friend. Check your calendar. So, but hey, let me tell you, John Maher has spent 3-4 years with you, okay, and he knew you very well. So I believe I'm your I'm your first Persian friend. So or Iranian friend.
Yeah. So that makes you my best. Too. No competition yet.
So, but you didn't have that much experience with me, and you trusted me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yes, I want to get to that. I also want to practice a little cultural exercise. I'm going to go to my neighbor's house and just invite myself in for dinner and see how that
I invited when I met my wife. Okay, I wanted to continue with her. Okay, we started dating.
Mhm.
I invited myself to her place. It was a culture shock, but I wanted to do.
Well, and I think that's one of the things we won't have to talk about this now, but I love that picture because we've talked about this and we won't have to go into a ton of detail, but there is this hyper independence of Americans, and it really is at odds with community, and I think that is something that we have to sort of take a step back as sort of folks who come from the Western culture and say, man, we have a lot to learn. We have a lot to learn of what culture is, and that's right. That's like a hard thing to admit as a Westerner. You're like, we don't really know. We don't. We know sports, school, and get a job,
That's limited to that. Yeah.
and it's not very fulfilling.
An insurance plan.
Yes, and don't go bankrupt if you get sick. But you're right, and I think one of the things that I would love to hear more about is I love the picture of Afghanistan as a cultural society, and you talked a little bit about that, about the value of family, but if you could just give us a picture, dream with us for a second. You said, I would love to see a little Afghanistan. Here, we'll dream about it in the city. Give us a picture of what that looks like.
Oh yeah, that's a very good question, and that's what my dream for. If I talk to compare myself, the value for the people like me, it's more social values. Actually, these capital values is difficult for us, to be honest, to accept it. For the older generation, for the younger may accept it.
Yeah.
Capital means that we get happy when we spend money on someone else. I get happy. This is like, if right now, for example, I'm just providing, supporting 3-4 families in Afghanistan. And I'm enjoying that. So talking to each other's communication, the language is another big problem. So when we are here, for example, we have one family living close by us, and we are in the weekend, sit together, like we play cards, we have Afghan food, we have Afghan discussions. That's more than enough for us. We are not enjoying going to a stadium for a concert, going to some other fun. We are not enjoying. What we are enjoying is to sit with a few Afghans, talk, laugh, provide good food, and then the other thing is the help, assistance. Like, it's part of our culture that we call it in our culture, and the word is the volunteer word. We call it razakar or hashar. This volunteer is part of our culture. So whatever we do, we have them, like in Afghanistan, we do most of the things through volunteers in a very good ways. So then helping, paying, yeah, of course, there are some misusing. Some people, we have some cheaters, they are misusing. That's as an exception. But the real thing is like helping the seniors, respecting seniors. Oh, I know it's here also. I don't see don't want to say anything wrong about here. This is also good. But over there, when someone is aid is getting older, after 50, 60, then they become more respectful. So they don't need to work, no need for pensions, no need for anything. Their kids, their close family members, they will provide the services until he or she is dying. And the other culture is to, when someone is sick, they take special care for them. Different people are coming, they are there. So another thing is the wedding party and all these things. It's a little bit high. The wedding party you might hear in Afghanistan, 2,000, 3,000 people are coming in one wedding party. Like in my wedding party, we had more than 3,000 people. So we provided food for them.
I love it. Go ahead.
So sorry, that piece is really culturally one of my culture shock in Chicago. You cannot believe it, Chris, but in every single corner we see senior houses. Yeah, that doesn't exist in Iran. The senior houses, maybe Shiraz, my city is a big city, more than 2-3 million people living over there. The largest city in southern Iran, but you cannot find senior houses. Maybe you have to drive, I don't know, 50 miles to find one. Okay, and people hide it. Even they have to put their parents over there, they hide it. They are not, they just try to, keep it very secret. But in the United States, the system is totally different. And this is something I never accepted. Personally, no, I have a 19-month-old baby. Okay, I always tell my wife Amber that Emilia is our future. I go everywhere she goes.
Yes.
So because I love Chicago, I don't want to leave Chicago. But if she leaves, okay, I will go with her.
Yes. Well, and one of the things I'll speak, and this is one of the beautiful things, right? As you were sharing, I loved it. I don't. Americans were confused most of the time. About these things until we have relationships, until we have friends, and it's like, wow, I've really missed out on a lot of cool experiences and very rich culture. And I've learned this firsthand, right, in the past few years. This is something, if you would have asked me 5 years ago that we would purchase a multi-generational home, which means my wife's parents live with us. Mm-hmm. And because, she immigrated from Poland, and that is not, it is offensive to even say that, like, no, I would never, you don't put mom and dad in a home. That's offensive, right? It's in fact the opposite. It is as you age, you become more respected, and it is the obligation of the children and the family to ensure that you care for your, not only your parents, but your aging relatives, aunts, uncles, whatever. And I think one of the things that's hard, right? Like, it's a values issue. It really, really is. I love, one of my friends was a long-term missionary in India, and when he came back, he said, I was asking him, what's one of the things you would tell us now after spending the past 20 years in India? He said, they've got something right that we need to change. And he said, there's a saying, and I can't say it in the native language, but basically that your family is your inheritance. And that is where all the focus is not in your not in your retirement or your 401k or Social Security or whatever else. It is in your family. And the number of people you can support and bless as a way of life, that is it.
Right. So Amber and I, my wife, so we are so inspired by your house. So honestly, because his in-laws live with him, but they have their own privacy as well. So this is our ideal home now. If definitely next house, okay, we will be hunting. It would be exactly like yours.
Just build one
smaller.
next door.
I cannot afford that big.
We have a lot of kids.
Yeah.
No, it's really appreciated that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I would be, if you don't mind, it's one of my favorite pieces. We'll take a little light hearted view of these next couple of questions, because I would love to hear from you. Like, surely there's pieces like the cultural, whether it's cuisine, food, or dance or music. Just bring us back for a second to Afghanistan and say, what do you miss? What do you want to bring here? Like, if you could bring it right now, right here, what would that be?
Oh, definitely. The one thing that I'm working here in a cultural center here, that's what we established, to make them like have to bring all these cultural values here is one thing will be to make them more connected, because when I talk over there in Afghanistan, every weekend, our weekend is starting by Friday. Thursday and Friday is the
Man, I
weekend,
need to-
not Saturday.
Yeah,
and Saturday.
same as you.
Yes, not Saturday and Sunday. Saturday and Sunday is the working day. Friday is because we have a special prayer by the religion, and then Thursday. Mainly Friday is only one day is off by the government side, and Thursday is on the up to 8 to 1 o'clock. After 1 is off.
It's same as Iran.
Yes,
Fridays.
same Iran. Iran is the same, yes. So what we do is mainly on the Friday, Saturday, Thursday night. So we come to, for example, in my house, we had a family, a big family, like of 70, 80 people. My mom, my dad is passed away, but my mom is still alive. So she's the boss. She's she's the managing. Directing everything. So she was there, and her daughters with her grandchildren, like my brothers, everybody, they were coming to our house. That was repeating most of the weekends, 1 day or 2 days. These 60, 70 people, 50 people, we were providing food. We will all having all together to the kitchen. The female will going to the kitchen. Mainly female are doing the cooking. Male is very rare. Male are cooking because they are working. They are going outside. So this is one part with the family. So then we have a lot of occasions: engagement party, wedding party. At least once in a week or in 2 weeks, there is one party. It's not like you tell, hey, 2 months or 1 month in advance that we have party. No, by tomorrow is the party. Today you will receive an invitation card and you must go. If you don't go, the people will not come to you. So the other thing is we have Nowruz celebration, New Year. New Year is a big deal, but not very big, because some ethnicity, some people in the rural areas, they say it's against the religion. But still, it's one of the national holiday. We have Eid days, 2-time Eid days, and it's the first Eid day is for 3 days. The second one is to 5 to 6 days. It depends to that. So that's the very big deal. The people are gathering. So these are the occasions to come and sit together and in parties. So then we have like in some, for example, if someone has a baby, then he has to a special party. We call it Shawishash. Mm-hmm. The 6th night called like Shawishash. It's like by 6th night, he has to provide the food. Then they are inviting hundreds of people. Yeah. And that's for this baby. So then when there is, for example, there is a name for a baby, then they have party. So we provide this name for this baby. So similar to that, there are other, so these are the type of occasions. For example, one of the cultural thing is not very usual, but still part of the culture. When there is new snow coming, we call it barfi. I don't know, have you heard this word or not?
Yeah, I have.
When new snow come in, if somebody go and knock someone's door and put a little bit of snow and in a paper, they put it in an envelope, the snow, and they put it, this is a gift for you. If he didn't know that this is barfi, then he has to give a party to.
I am taking that one.
Yes,
I'm taking that.
So, Misbah, you took me back to Iran. It's many things I really miss Iran. So Nowruz time, the country is almost the holidays are almost around a month. Prior Charsham, from Charsham Suri to Nowruz, then Sizde Bedar, the 30th is a nature day. Then one thing you reminded me of, I forgot about. I really miss Iran now because it was a Thursday night. We don't schedule parties. Okay, we don't make a plan. Okay, or send calendar invite. No, not at all.
Planning.
So I'm sitting honestly. Many I throw many parties. Just hey, I'm bored. Call
Yes.
when a friend of mine, Mohammed, hey Mohammed, okay, I'm bored. Come to my house. Okay, then Mohammed call another friend. Hey, come to. I'm going to Ali's house. Come to go and join us. Or then call another one. Hey, we are going to visit Ali on the way. Okay, grab something coming in. So in the bite, from that moment I call Mohammed to having dinner or party, dancing. You would see around 50 people around you. Some of them I didn't know them, but it was very, very easy to have through a party, having just by a phone call. Hey, I'm bored. Come to my house. In 2-3 hours, you have 50 people around you.
Even in our country, even now, they have no call. They just knock the door directly. They just come in. And it's not 1 or 2 people, 10 people, 15 people come in. And they stay 2-3 days, 4 days.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah, that is, I am jealous because I think, one of the,
I wish you could go with us.
I would love to. That would be amazing. I know how to party too. Just send me in there. Put me in, coach. But one of the things we sometimes do, right? This happened just yesterday in my own house. Someone stopped by. They were dropping something off. They had a couple people with them, and my partner was like, felt the need to make sure everything was like tidy and clean. And I'm like, okay, I get it. Like, but we sometimes care so much about looking perfect or together that we forget, like, hey, parties are messy. When you're doing life together, like people are gonna they're gonna see the cleaned up house and they're gonna see the dirty house, and that's fine. What's important is that we do it together.
Yes.
And I think I just want to bottle that up and take it home with me so I can go have a nice party tonight. I would love.
Barfi concept.
Oh, I am
good.
doing that.
I love that.
How do you enforce?
Snowman is also a culture there.
Really? What does it mean?
Yeah, we made it. Yeah, it's a lot of snowmans. Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
So how do you enforce the party? Like, so you leave the snow on someone's door, and then if they don't know, they have to throw you a party?
If they know you, then they will not accept this envelope from you. You will realize that there is something behind it. Yes, so this is like most of the people, they know that. If someone is like wake up early in the morning and you don't know, and the people, they don't see the weather over there. They will see the sky. What is going the sky? It's cloud or it's rainy, it's snow. They don't see the weather channel in the mobile how is the wedding. The weather. So they that's part of.
I'm so motivated right now.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for the snow.
Yeah.
That is wonderful. I was curious. I know this is a slightly different look, but I'm just interested. And you please feel free and say nothing because that's a fair answer. But having spent some time in the States, because there are some unique elements of Western culture. But I'm just curious if you could say like, hey, this is something that I do think I've really appreciate or I like about living in Chicago or the culture here in Chicago of, hey, this part of it has really connected to me, and I feel this is something that I'm like, oh, this means a lot to me. Have you found those cultural connections?
Well, yes, one of the reasons for that culture center that we establish, it's not only that we foster the cultural values here, but at the same time we want to engage them with the cultural values of the U.S., Chicago especially. Afghanistan, our country, with these thousands years of history and all these traditions that repeatedly came, and it's in our blood. There is no doubt, but some of them are not correct. Most of them, like these examples that I told you, for example, if one person is working and then providing and supporting 10 people, 15 people, that's not a correct way. But this is what it's over there. So for that, like if I say if I compare both cultures, US is new country. It's 250 years or almost. So everything is new. So that's why most of the things are based on the standards. That's based on professionalism. Like I cannot see much difference between the formality and informality here. So in the US, a lot of things that I very much like, the people are not lying here. So it's just clear whatever they have it. Like if somebody is going to pay them the like in our culture, when you go to the hotel, even if there are 10 people, so one person is coming, I want to pay for everyone. And most of them, they are paying for 10 people, 5 people, 3 people. Here, it's just simple to simple. They want. Then on time is another issue. Here, they are on time. Unfortunately, we have a bad term for Afghans. We call it Afghan time. When you invite someone, they come 3 hours later for the wedding party. You write 4 o'clock, they are coming 8 o'clock. That's one of the reality, unfortunately. So being honest, this is one thing I found here in this culture. So to avoid lie, to be on time, to be professional, to be and to work. Everybody should work. This is another thing. Like because we are facing here we are in the US, and here it's a different system. So we have to accept the system. The system will not accept us. otherwise we will be gone. So everybody has to work. Anyone elder than 16, 15, 17 should start to work. And these are the positive things. Financial independence. This is very important. Having job, having education, having so I could say most of the thing I liked. Most of part of the culture of the Western culture, because of my work for the past 20 years, I work with the Western people. I like most of the things, but we are facing 2 things. One is the reality that we are facing. That's a reality. That's something we cannot change. In there, you cannot change it. This is what you have to. But here, it is it's like most part of the cultures are. I really like that. Yeah. So yeah, I like the coffee. There we have tea, but the tea has its own culture. But coffee here, having. So yeah, the people are. I think naturally the people need to be social, need to talk, need to. But the problem is with the system. System will not allow them. So they have to work. They have to.
Yeah, right. I have We've spoken about community, and I want to, in a sort of a beautiful figure in American history, and a sort of champion of the civil rights is Dr. Martin Luther King, and I want to share. It's a very familiar quote, but I just couldn't help but be reminded of it as you were talking about your story. And I think it's just important to remind myself, and I think for those listening, that when I heard you talking and really just sharing your heart of dreaming for the Afghan community and the Afghan people, that we believe in democracy and freedom and human rights, I was reminded of these things. And we know that I had a dream speech that Dr. King gave, and a quote in there that we often use is, I have a dream that all people will be judged by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. And I think, we gravitate towards that given sort of our history and the civil rights movement here, but I think it's really powerful. And I thank you for reminding of this, that we need to remind ourselves that, 1, we all have dreams, and 2, as a culture here in the city and nationally, let's make sure we're not falling victim to judging people, not only by the color of their skin, but certainly not by the country of their origin or their ethnicity. And that we all share that dream of all people created equal. We bear God's image, as our founding documents even suggest, that we welcome people and realize we are all humans. Yes. At the end of the day. So thank you so much for that reminder. I'm going to hold on to that. I'm also going to buy a bunch of waterproof envelopes because I feel like that might be, if the snow melts a little bit, it might give it away. But I know we're sort of wrapping things up. Ali, I don't want to close too quickly. Do you have something else you wanted to add?
What is your favorite restaurant in Chicago? Not beside Kabul House.
Well, to be honest, Noon Kebab.
Nuna kebab, nuna kebab.
That's what, because this is our food. Like Asian food. And it's very tasty, to be honest.
I know Rebecca Crichton, Trellus co-CEO, loves kebab, yes.
Yes. And another thing, we mainly cook at home. That's another part of culture. Like when there is home with my wife is a housewife. She's not working. She's take care of the kids and making good food. So when I have food at home, I don't want to go to the restaurant. This is part of the culture in Afghanistan, mainly. This is what we grow. We have some level of people who are in the city, so they are going to the restaurants, but going to the restaurant is not very common over there.
Another different culture. So when we go out to eat in Iran, means we are celebrating something, because most of them we eat at home. Here, okay, we go out, we eat out. If we cook at home, we are celebrating.
It's vice versa. Yes.
That's true.
Yes.
So thank you so much. It was very beautiful conversation. I really enjoy, and you took me back in Iran a lot. So
thank you.
Yeah.
You also took
Yes,
it.
and I would love if you could just I know the folks listening today and watching will just love the work you're doing. So if you don't mind, how can we follow along and connect with you and the work you're doing?
Sure, we are connected through him, and I am now working with the Zakat Foundation and also managing the things for the Cultural Center. So I'm in the social media. I can share all of my contact information anytime. I'm happy to especially talk in front of the camera because I have done maybe more than 15,000 TV interviews, but most of them are live interview. So I feel happy, and the reason is I want to share something with the people, my experience, and people need motivation. People need some to get education, to be like to share the thoughts and ideas with them. So yeah, I really thanks to both of everyone here, including you all, for providing this opportunity to me to talk, and I'm happy to meet again, talk, stay in contact again. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, and
Thank you.
Ali, it's always a pleasure to be with you. And I say it jokingly, but I mean it. I will be carrying waterproof envelopes around the city, and I'll invite you guys to the party.
You can do it with one of the relatives.
Yes, I will
tell them,
absolutely.
Reference me.
Yes.
Yes.
And so again, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And we couldn't be more honored to have you here, and look forward to continuing the conversation.
Pleasure. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in to Our Stories and joining the conversation. To learn more about the podcast or get in touch, you can visit us at ourstoriespodcast.com or find us on social media. Our Stories is recorded in Chicago and co-produced by Trellus and Flex Tech AI. We'll see you next time.